and also those who are for the first time joining us. My name is Denzel Chetty and I lead the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub project, which is actually hosting some of these training sessions with you today. So let me begin by wishing you all the best for 2022. We hope that this will be an inspiring academic year and that you will receive all the goals, achieve all the goals that you have actually set out for the year. For those new students that are joining us, first time at UNISA, a warm welcome to you. And for all our returning students at UNISA, it's great to have you back at UNISA, especially for this new academic year that we are facing. And I know many of you have had challenges with COVID and the transitions, and we hope that this year will be better. So, UNISA student in this part, you'll find assessments, sites, and announcements. Our as a student is the main portal for all your communication in terms of content with the university, right? You will also use this space for interacting with your lecturers and your fellow peers. Now, over the past 3 years, we have engaged extensive research with many students across the country, and we have found that one of the ways in which students succeed is that when they have a very good orientation to understanding the myUnisa platform, myModules. It's on that basis that we decided to run some of these trainings so that we prepare you and give you those core skills that you need to function in the UNISA environment as an online learner and navigate the UNISA platform. Now, you would also know that over the past year, we have upgraded the myUnisa. So for those that are returning students to UNISA, you will find an upgraded myUnisa myModules look. And part of this training is also to reskill you with some of the changes that have happened in the space and how you actually navigate that space. So in these sessions, we will walk you through some of the key skills and competencies that you need to engage this upgraded portal. So welcome to the first session of the training on basic skills in myModules on myUnisa. And we will, in the course of the year, have more sessions around some of these core skills, including assessment practice and the rest of it in the course of the year. Facilitators, today I have with me Richard Wright, my colleague Richard Wright, and David Arpestad, who would also be co-facilitating and the training. We also have, if you look on the participant list, you'll find a variety of colleagues from the EDOV team, the regional staff, TELCs and DLAs that form part of the group today with us. Right. I also have with me Ms. Sophie Mabaso, who is going to be our sign writer. So welcome, Ms. Sophie Mabaso. And this is to ensure that we are inclusive in our training. So how this training will work, ladies and gentlemen, on the chat, you will find a link to the open course site, which my colleague Richard Wright will share and where he will facilitate from. You will be able to access all the training materials that Richard actually showcased and demonstrates on that open course site. So it's very important that you access that open course site. You will also note he posted up a link to a pre-course assessment where you can rate yourself on your knowledge that you have already. And later on, you will find that we will post a post-course assessment where you can actually look at the trajectory and the growth of your knowledge in this session. Now, you will find that in the chat, please feel free to post your comments. We have an able team of colleagues who are working in the background to answer as much of your questions as possible. But please remember, the scope of the session today is on learning the myModules and myUnisa. That's our scope today. And I know that we have many questions regarding other elements. We try our best to respond to that, but please remember the scope of our session. So we will also share the recordings of these sessions. If you have some challenges with connectivity, you will be able to get the recordings of these sessions on the UNISA or on the Open Learning course site, which we will showcase to you, as well as on the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub YouTube channel. So the program for today, ladies and gentlemen, we will have Richard Wright doing the training overview for us, and he will demonstrate and walk you through some of the training content and how the actual how-to on the myUnisa myModules platform. And then we will also have David Arpestad, who will assist with some of the Q&As in our Q&A session. Now, remember that you will find that we have not opened up the microphones because of the large number of participants. We encourage you to use the chat, and we will field your questions from the chat function and then address that as part of our Q&A. Richard, it's now my pleasure to hand over to you, Richard, to walk us through the training. Thanks, Richard.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Denzel. So let's get started. I'm quickly going to share my screen with you. Okay, so everyone, welcome. So today we're going to cover myUnisa, myModules specifically, and also touch on the myLife email. So as Denzel mentioned, a lot of you that's coming back from last year, you will notice there's some very big upgrades that was happening. So we really want to get you up and running with the new environment. But also for new students, we want to give you an overview of how do you get started, what are these different platforms, and when will you use them. So firstly, I'm going to put in the chat a link, and this is just a post-assessment survey. Will you please just take a minute to complete the survey? The link is in the chat at the moment. This will just help us to assess your knowledge before and after the session so that we can improve any future workshops that we will be having. So please, if you can, if you're on a desktop, you can just click on the link and just complete all the questions on there. It should not take you more than 2 minutes. Okay, so while you're just completing, I'll start going ahead. So just a reminder, this session, we're just going to focus on myUnisa, myModules, and myLife. So we won't be able to assist you with any student admin related questions. So if you have problems still with paying, finance, modules not listed, or not registered for yet, please visit myUnisa and you can go to the inquiries page. I'll quickly show you where to go. So you simply visit myunisa.ac.za and then you can click on inquiries, and this will actually list all the contact information for various departments, even the regional centers. So any questions that you have, always first, or any problems that you encounter, first go to the inquiries page on myUnisa. So it's on the top tab on myUnisa, inquiries, and this should be your first port of call basically when you run into a problem or just want to find out information about student admin related queries, the library, or regional centers and what services they offer. And then now we want to introduce to you the open course. So I'll put the guides for the link to the URL for you in the chat as well, so you can quickly click on the link. So in the chat, I will put the longer link. If you're unable to see the chat, you can also type in the link displayed on the presentation. So the myModules online guide is basically everything that we will be covering today. So if you miss anything during the session or you're uncertain about certain areas, please go and visit the portal and go through the guides. We also post recordings on there under webinar recordings. So I can quickly show you what the site looks like. So if you visit open up the link, you should come to a page like this one. And all you need to do is click on one of the tiles and then click on getting started. And this will take you through all the, how can I say, introduction and how to get started with myModules. And as you can see, we actually cover everything that you possibly would want to know. For instance, how the calendar works, the new badging system, how to access your module content, prescribed books, official study material. So everything that we will be covering today is on this platform. What we also do is after the session, we will upload the webinar recording, and you will see even the session that we had previously is available on here. So you are free to go and visit this page and just after the session and go through the content on your own. Please note on the site, do not log in. This is an open course, so it's not linked to the official myUnisa. This is a demo area where you can come and learn of this material. So remember, after you finish this material, always open the official myUnisa page, and from here you log in to your myModules. So this one is just a area where you can receive content, and you can open it up without logging in. So I really advise you to go and have a look on that. I'll just paste the link in the chat as well. So remember, you click on the direct link to open up this page for this information. So let's get started with the introduction to myUnisa first. So I hope you all got the link and you can open the link. So the first question is, especially for new students starting this year, have you claimed your myUnisa account yet? And this should be the first thing that you need to do when you finalize your registrations. If you're a new student, you have to go and visit myUnisa to claim your account. And this is very important because this is the username or password that you will receive to access all the various online platforms of myUnisa. So if you're a new student, if you haven't done so already, we'll take you through the steps now. Please do this as quickly as possible so that you can receive all future announcements and communication. So just a quick introduction. So what is it that when we talk about myUnisa, and what is the myLife? So myUnisa is the official student portal, and this is where you access your myModules and the myAdmin. So just remember, myUnisa is the banner under which myModules and myAdmin is located, and this contains all the UNISA official UNISA portals. Just a quick introduction. So myModules is where your learning management system is, and then myAdmin is where you will do administrative functions like update your biographical information or change your password or even view your exam register. Where myLife will be your official UNISA email account. So all communication that you do in the future with UNISA, once you've claimed your myUnisa, should be from your myLife email account. Else you will probably not get a reply from your lecturer, as they are instructed to only reply to myLife email addresses. So make sure that you can access this myLife email as well. Just a note, when you first claim your myLife email, it can take up to 48 hours for this account to be activated. And so just once you claim, just give some time for the account to be created and activated, and then try and sign in. Just remember that your myLife email will usually have the form of it will be your student number followed at mylife.unisa.ac.za. And that is the email that you use to sign in as well. But we will show you exactly how you type that in to sign in. So just for new students as well, how do you access myUnisa, the portal? So you can go to unisa.ac.za. That's probably where you went to go apply and register. You'll see there's a little link, myUnisa, at the top under the search bar, as well as an icon with myUnisa. So you simply click on the link and this will open the myUnisa portal. So from here, if you have not claimed your password for myUnisa yet, you'll have to click on the top, claim UNISA login. So what you do is just click under the username or password boxes, there's a claim UNISA login. You click on claim UNISA login. You insert your student number in the box where you need to insert your student number. And then you also need to add all your credentials on the next page. Just remember, when you add your credentials, this should be exactly as you typed it in when you registered for the modules or with UNISA, because this is actually verified account against the account information. So put in your full names as you typed it into the registration with your surname, and your date of birth, and then your identity number. Just a note for international students, you do not put your passport number or foreign ID into the identity number field. You put it in at the bottom field where it says passport number or foreign ID. So just don't confuse those two. And South African citizens, you also don't need to put anything at the bottom field. So once you've inserted that, you can just say continue. You will be asked to have a few just acknowledge that you won't be sharing your information, your credentials, and that you abide by the rules. And you can just say acknowledge after you ticked all the boxes, and then you will be provided with your password. I see there's a few asking for the tiny URL. So remember that tiny URL is the same one that we post in the chat where you can access the open course. I'll just paste it here again. There we go. So remember that tiny URL is exactly the same one, this long URL that we're pasting into the chat. So you can just click on that link to open the guides. So just when you receive your password, keep this password very safe. This is the one that you will use to log into myUnisa and to your MyLife account. And just note the format of it. It's usually 3 lowercase characters by 2 numbers and then 3 uppercase characters. And they're sometimes mixed as well. So a big problem that we have here, especially with new students, when they first try to log in, you might confuse the uppercase O with the number 0, or a uppercase I with a lowercase l. So just if you type in this password and it's not working, just play around with what is the uppercase and lowercase. But generally it has a pattern of 3 lowercase characters by 2 numbers and then 3 uppercase letters. Okay, so once you've got your password, you're ready to log into myUnisa. So remember about the username, it's not your name, it's not your email address, it's just your student number. A lot of students also get confused. So here by the username, they usually type in the MyLife email address. So remember, the full MyLife email address you only use to access your MyLife, but on myUnisa to log in, it's only your student number and the password that was provided to you. And you type the password in exactly as it was provided. If you perhaps come into a case where you've studied a few years ago and you come back or you've misplaced your password, remember what you can do is also retrieve forgotten passwords by clicking on the forgotten UNISA password. This will take you through the exact same steps as we had previously. When you claimed, we have to type in your student number, all your information. And then on the last page, we'll tell you that the new password will be SMS to you. This SMSs can take some time to come through. So please be patient once you've claimed or requested a new password to wait for that SMS. It will, if you're going to try and reset it again multiple times, it will block you eventually. So please rather be patient and wait for the SMS to come through. If it doesn't come through after about 6 hours, then you can try again, as the SMS system might just have been down in that particular moment. But please keep this password safe so that you can use it in the future as well. So then just if you log into your myUnisa interface, for new students as well, there will be a new tab at the top. So the main portals will be accessed in the header. You'll see there's 3 buttons, the myModules 2022, myModules 2021, and myAdmin. So remember, these are then access to the various portals within myUnisa. If you're a new student, you will primarily just work on myModules 2022. If you are a previous student and you still perhaps have an outstanding exam that you have to complete or portfolio submission that you have to do, you might still have to access myModules 2021. But for all registrations from now going forward, everything is completed on myModules 2022. So this is where you will access all the material as you have done previously with myModules 2021. You will now go to myModules 2022. And then the myAdmin portal we will look at now and what functions you can do there. So just to give you an overview, what is the different portals once you log into myUnisa? So remember, myModules 2022, it's the official student portal for students where you can access your module resources, submit assignments, interact with other students and your e-tutor or group. So this is the official learning management system of UNISA, LMS. You will hear that term quite a few times through your studies on UNISA as we are going online. So LMS means the learning management system, and for UNISA, that is myModules currently. Specifically now for this year, myModules 2022, as we're busy with the upgrade. So just remember, myModules 2021 is the one that's being superseded. I see there's a mistake on the presentation here, so I'll just fix that later. This is not the new one. The new one is myModules 2022, is the new upgraded learning management system. So generally, you will only focus on myModules and myAdmin, where myAdmin is where you then complete administrative functions, where you can, for instance, update your biographical information, as we mentioned. You can track your study material when it's going to be delivered. You can view exam timetables or even change your password to myUnisa. Just a very important one with the password for changing passwords. If you try to log in, for instance, to your email address and it tells you or that your password is incorrect, you're always gonna come to myAdmin or myUnisa to change your password. You're never gonna use any other facility to change your password. It's always on myUnisa. Then just a quick note, if you're gonna access your myModules for the first time, you'll see your module codes listed in the drop-down. And generally, they've got the format of its module code followed by the year. So you'll see, for instance, the example over here, it will be module code course 3701, followed by the year, and then followed by which semester you are in. If it's a year module, it will just show a Y for year module. So this is the official site for your module. And this is generally the first site that you will visit for a specific module is the official site. Later, you will also be grouped into smaller groups, and that will be for e-tutoring or group sites. So there's a little bit of a difference between e-tutor sites and group sites, where e-tutors are e-tutors that are allocated to you, and they provide you with guidance on how to complete the material and how to study. They're not there to help you with the assignment specifically and how to answer the questions, but with the activities that they do and then the resources they share, it will support you in completing your assignments and be successful with the course. Group sites work a little bit different. That's for larger modules such as EUP, where you will actually have assignments to go do on your group site. So really have a look at your tutorial letter for your module on how the structure is going to work for assessments. If it's just going to be assessments on the official site, then you know you only focus on the official site to submit official assignments, where if it says that you might be grouped into group sites, then you know there's some activities you'll have to do on the group site that will add to your final grade on the official site. But for e-tutor sites, you will visit these sites and they are there to assist you. So how do you distinguish between them? So as we said, the official module site is usually the module code, followed by the year, followed by which semester it is or year. Then it will, if it's an e-tutor site, for instance, it will have an additional 1E or 2E at the end. And that will be your e-tutor group number, that 1 in front of the E. For group sites, it will usually have a T at the end to show this is a group site and with your group number. So just a quick overview of the tools that you can do, that you can use on myAdmin. We've already covered a few of them. So if you want to access your academic record, update your biographical details. Now, one note on biographical details, and this is what when we went to the update or forgotten password, you notice that we mentioned that on the last step, it will SMS the new password to you. So always keep your cell phone number up to date on this platform. It's very important. So if you get a new cell phone with a new cell phone number, go first to myUnisa and update your new contact information. That will also be the number that they use when they perhaps provide additional data for you to complete examinations. So it's very important that that number under your biographical details is correct. On the My Admin site, you can also go and change your password. If you feel you've got a particular password that you want to use for myUnisa, you can go change your password there. During registration process openings, you can go and edit your registration. You can review financial details, track your study material, and even get study fee quotations. One note on assignments, especially for students from previous years, you're not going to use myAdmin anymore to submit your assignments. All assignments are submitted on the myModules module site. So that feature will actually be now removed from myAdmin. So do not go to the myAdmin anymore assignments to view assignments that you need to submit. All assignments are listed on myModules. So closer to the exams, you can also go and access your examination timetable. Usually they do, publish a preliminary timetable already. Don't go and copy that one now already and say that's the official one you prepare for those dates. They do change as it becomes closer to the examination, and they look at clashes between modules. So this is one that if you go look at it now, for instance, it will give you a good indication when the exams will start, when you have to write. But always go at least 2 weeks before examinations to view the final examination timetable to finalize the dates on which you will write. So just a quick note as well, if you're going to go and change your password on myAdmin, you'll have to insert your old password and then the new password and click submit. So it's a very quick process, but where once you click submit, the fields are left empty. And there's only a little green notification at the top that says my life passwords has been updated. A lot of students miss this, so they click on submit, all the fields go blank and they think, oh, nothing changed. They miss the little green to say that your password has been changed. So then they go and they insert the old password again with the new one that they want to create, and then it says that it's the incorrect password. So just remember, when you click the submit button to change your password, only click it once and just wait for the green banner to appear to verify that your information or your password has been changed. Because else you might, if you now change a couple of times, you might get lost on which one you used the most recent, and then you have to go through the whole forgotten password procedure to get a new password. So what we're going to be doing as well in this session is we're just going to have a quick demo on to show you how do you access myModules 2022, especially how to access the platform, how to view its student profile, the calendar, grades, that's very important. And then also module content, how do you submit assignments on this new platform. There's also options of sending direct messages. And then finally, all the students will be very familiar with this, is how to participate in forums and forum topics discussions. So I'm just quickly going to close the presentation for now. Okay, so let me just open the browser over here. So first thing we will do is I'll just log into myUnisa. We'll click on myModules 2022. So the first time that you access myModules 2022, you'll land on the dashboard. As you can see, there's just some handy tips to get started. But generally, it is a very clean dashboard of just a header bar. You've got the left navigation, a content area in the middle, and then right blocks that they call. You can also customize this right blocks and add your own blocks. But please don't do this now until you're familiar with the platform. So that we see as a little bit more of an advanced feature that we won't be covering. But generally, when you go to your dashboard, this is what you should see on your dashboard is just this welcoming page. On the left will be your dashboard, calendar, preference, and contact us, the content area, and then the left blocks. Now, How do you access your modules from here? You click actually on the My Modules again, and it will give you a drop down of all the modules that you enrolled for. So just a quick view from here, the calendar. Calendar is a very important tool if you want to plan for your year ahead and when your assignments are due. So you can actually visit the calendar. You can browse through the months. So I can see, for instance, the 21st of March, I've got an assignment that needs to be submitted. So it really helps you to plan your year, and it shows all your modules together, when all the due dates are, uh, when the due dates are. So just here, you can also add a new event. So you can always add, for instance, start with assignment this, so you know that when you have to start. So you can really use this calendar to plan for your year ahead. And this calendar works exactly the same as you would have, for instance, in your Gmail account, where you've got a calendar. If you're using Microsoft accounts, your Outlook calendar, it works exactly the same. One thing we did note is, and just have be aware of, is sometimes the quizzes dates do get updated, especially now they've extended some of the dates. So if the date that's shown here is already passed, and you might think you forgot it, always go to your myModules, the module site, just to see if there's an updated due date. But generally, you can work on the dates here if you can to submit by the due dates provided on the calendar. So really use the calendar to plan your year ahead, and make your own events to know when you should be starting with a specific assignment. For preferences, you don't necessarily have to change any preferences. You can, for instance, on here you won't have a lot of access anyway to change, because this is all information coming from myUnisa. Remember, this is the learning management system, myModules, and on here the preferences are dictated by what you put into myAdmin. Finally, there's just to contact us if you have any problems, especially with myUnisa, myLife. You can, or myModules, you can contact inquire@unisa.ac.za, and the email is provided on here. Before we go to the specific modules, I just want to show you additional few features that's accessible from the dashboard. The one is, if the menu on the left doesn't show for you, remember you have to click this orange button here on the left, on this little bar over here, and this will show the left and hide the navigation, left navigation. So even in your modules as well, if you want to have more reading space with the content, remember you can click this button, and that will hide the left navigation. So as you can see, it will expand the text over here and make it a little bit more readable. Another thing is, on the top, you will see your profile picture with your name. Down here, you can access your profile. Generally, you will only access this probably the first time. It does give you an overview of your courses that you're currently enrolled in. But specifically, just have a look at your email address to make sure that your email address is available here and it is correct. So you can actually, from here, actually quickly access your courses as well, but you rather use the My Modules drop-down button. Very important one that's available from here is grades. Now, we spoke earlier about myAdmin, the assignments tool that's going to be removed from myAdmin. A lot of students use that in the past to go and have an overview of when is the assignments due or the grades that they receive. So you can generally say that the assignments tool, especially the assignments tool in modules as well, is being replaced by grades. So you rather click on grades, you can click on the specific course that you're interested in, and it will show you exactly all the assignments and what is your grade that you achieved for that assignments. So just keep that in mind, that the old assignments tool, you can now have more or less the same information by just viewing the grades tool on myModules. So from here, you can actually quickly access this assignment as well and submit from here. So really, on the profile, click on grades, and this will give you an overview of all your assignments when with the weight that they carry towards your final grade for that specific item. Just the last one on the dashboard. You also get notifications. So if somebody sent you a direct message or there's an announcement, it will show on notifications. We also had, for instance, one that we had last year that we're going to be following up with the development team is a lot of students relied on their MyLife email, where the announcements come through to their email addresses. Currently, the announcements from modules do not go to your email address. So you'll have to go and come and visit myModules to view the latest announcements. Hopefully that can be addressed very quickly so that it does go through to your emails, but currently you will not receive the announcements on your email addresses. There's also a messaging tool. So for instance, if you are grouped, you can view the groups that you can participate with. You can send direct messages to the participants as well. And this will only be people that you have got access to through various courses or modules that you enrolled for. So you won't have access to everybody in the university, just the people with that's part of courses or sites that you've shared contact information. And you must really think of this messaging as WhatsApp. So you've got groups and you've got single messages, almost like a SMS that you send to the person, and you just search for them by name at the top bar. But let's get really down into it. I just want to see quickly on the chat if there's anything that we can answer so far. myUnisa, yes, David.
Yes, there's quite a few questions coming in, but I do see colleagues and even a few students are actually helping each other with the answers. One question that came through via email is, I've started my quiz. I had load shedding. How do I get back into my quiz?
Okay, we'll have a look at that one now. How do you just go back into your quiz? You should have the option just to continue from where you left off. As long as you haven't submitted it already for grading at the end, then you will be able to go back to your quiz and continue. Should we wait? Okay, now I don't see anything particularly
Richard,
at the moment.
sorry, Richard, just one on the quiz. Just remember that if it's a timed assessment, they need to be careful because if the time lapsed, then they will have to contact the lecturer.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I'll cover that as well. Okay, everyone, so this is basically the dashboard. So you've logged into myUnisa, you clicked on myModules 2022, it brought you here. This is everything that you can do on the myModules dashboard. So now we want to access our specific module that we enrolled for. So as I mentioned, you can click on myModules. It will list all the modules that you're listed for, and you can just simply click on that module. And here, I just want to highlight again the module code. How do you identify an official module site? And as you can see, for instance, with the one I've got here, it's the module code followed by the year, and then a Y to indicate it's a year module. If it was a semester module, it would be S1 or S2. And then additionally, if it's an eTutor site, it will have an additional extra where it says E1 if it's an eTutor site, or E2 depending on your group number. Or if it's a group site where you have to go and do activities with other participants, it will have a T at the end. So just be aware of what is the official site. So always make sure you first go visit the official module site. So when you land on the official module site, you'll notice the layout is more or less exactly the same. We've got a left navigation over here. We've got a central content area, and then also right blocks that lecturers can add to show additional information. But what I want you to do is when you access the site, the general area that you have to focus on is this central content area. And this is where you will work through all your material. So this differs a bit, especially for students coming from the previous, before the upgrade, where you had to use the left navigation quite a lot. For instance, go to your assignments, go to forums, go to study units, all that type of thing. Here, generally, you'll focus mostly on the central page over here. Everything is accessible from the central content area. The only times that you will necessarily access the left navigation is for two things. The first one is perhaps just to view any prescribed material. If you've got textbooks that's been prescribed, you can come and click on the prescribed material over here. But some advice, this prescribed material, sometimes it will list nothing. So the place where you always go for all the course information is official study material. This is the most important one, tutorial letter 101. So make sure that you can access this on the course site. You click on official study material, tutorial letter 101. When you access a module site for the first time, when you registered for the module, you've got access. This is the first tutorial letter that you have to access and read. And why it's so important, it gives you an overview of the whole course. What is perhaps any prescribed material, textbooks that you're going to be required. It gives you the contact information for your lecturer, the department. And even sometimes give you a breakdown how to approach the course, how to plan to study for the exams, even what study units to learn for particular assignments. So this really gives you a breakdown of everything, how the course is constructed and how it's going to be implemented over the duration of the course. So sometimes it gives you, for instance, the assessment mark, how much is the assessment going to be compared to your final examination mark. So this is a very, very important letter. So if you access your site for the first time, always first go to official study material in the left navigation and download this and read through them very thoroughly, because this will give you a lot of insights into how the course is going to be run. So as I mentioned, a little bit of a difference from the Kai tools. These are the tools that you will generally use in the left navigation for a specific course. You might, for instance, if they've got frequently asked questions, access that as well, or just the calendar for the specific course. But otherwise, you will focus on this area here in the middle, and that's where the welcome message is. So you'll notice there's always will be some sections. There will be a welcome message that also gives you just the introduction to the course, tell you about the importance of the tutorial letters and study guides that you need to access under official study material. On the right-hand side, it will give you a course progress. So this will give you a nice indication how far you with all the activities that's on the course. Remember, a lot of the lecturers are still populating content. So the course progress might show you, oh, I'm almost done, and then they add another chapter or lesson. They are still busy populating content, but this will in the end give you an overview if you covered all the resources that's made available on the myModules module site. From here, you can also quickly access the calendar for specific dates to see if there is anything happening. For instance, the 21st for this module, there's a quiz that needs to be submitted. Underneath this, you usually have some introductory activities, such as announcements. And as I mentioned before, remember, announcements currently do not go to your MyLife email. So you unfortunately have to come and visit here to access it, but we will ask for in the future that it does go to your MyLife email as well. But for now, please visit your announcements page for a section, and it's very important as they lecturers will also let you know if there's an extension to assignment, perhaps. Maybe there's something that changed in the assignment. For instance, there was a choice that was incorrectly worded. Usually that sections aren't marked afterwards, but it still will give you, when you actually do your assignment, that you don't get stuck along the way. Usually there will also be introductory activities such as forum activities, and then for instance this one over here has got additional resources as well, where there's some additional information that we can download for the specific module. Now, one thing where a lot of people also get stuck is they get on this page, they browse down and see there's only a few tabs here, some tiles as they call them, and then there's nothing else. So just note this little drop down here at the bottom. This is very important to open the drawer for additional activities on this site. So that's just the way it's summarized. and as you can see, I can access everything from here that's available in this learning in the left navigation, but it's just a lot more orderly, and I know now how to work through with it, basically from the drop down and left to right, assessment 1, assessment 2, assessment 3, 4, and this is how I'm going to go through my whole all my material. I'm just quickly going to switch over here to a different site so we can go into more in depth. Okay, I see there's another question there for assignments. I'll show you now to access assignments. Okay, so just from the top page, just for that assignments question, remember, as I mentioned previously, you can come here to grades for a quick overview of all the assignments that's required for a course. So I can click on here and I can see, oh, okay, this is all the assignments that I need to do for this specific course. And I can click on this assignment to get started with this specific assignment. So this is a quick way to get an overview if you want to see all the assignments that's due. Now, also remember, unlike the previous implementation of myModules, all the assignments are actually on the course page. So for instance, let me hide this left navigation over here so it's a little bit bigger. I can zoom in perhaps a bit as well. There we go. So as I mentioned previously, you've got your content areas, usually a welcome. You've got, for instance, some getting started activities. Most importantly will be the announcements. Then you can click on this bottom as well to open the drawer further. So at the bottom, you'll generally, the lecturers will divide it into learning units, or they might do it by timeline as well. But you'll have these tiles. So unlike the previous one, where you had to go to assignments, and that's where you're going to submit all your assignments, everything is now integrated into the course. So for instance, if we look at this learning unit 1, that's a good example. You'll have pages that will have, how can I say, topic content that I know I'll have to go and read. There might be forum activities that you need to do. And then, for instance, you'll have a quiz that you need to complete, and this will form part of the assignment. So from the grades drop down, you can have a quick view to see, okay, what is all is going to be marked for the assignment that I have to do to get a percentage for the course, but everything is integrated on the page. So as you complete different learning units, you will eventually get to the assignments on the page where you have to submit. So it's ordered in the way you should be actually consuming the information and participate in the platform. So the one thing that we'll probably run into is pages. So pages are just content. It's where you can receive and read information that's published online. Remember, facilitator lecturers might also make this available just as downloadable PDFs that you need to download, or resources that you have to access. The second one will then be activities, and we'll look at the forum activity now. Just a quick example of a URL, for instance, is also a resource that you need to access. So generally it will follow with some resources, followed by perhaps a forum activity, and then a quiz or assignment that you need to do. For those from previous year as well, note the forums are now also integrated into where it is necessary to do the forum activity. You don't go to a forum tool anymore to conduct a forum activity. So we can start off with a forum activity over here. And this is just to reflect feedback basically on what the content that we consumed at the moment. Now, for you that's new, a forum you must think of almost like a Facebook page where you've got somebody posted a topic and other people are replying to the topic. So they making comments onto it. So when you think of a forum, it's more or less the same principle, but it's just more formal. It's a discussion around a topic. Where else you might also have on myModules, we've got the chat tools as well, and different face-to-face methods of communicating. That's more informal. So a chat is a quick discussion. You throw ideas around, and but it's not structured. A forum is like a chat, but it's more structured, where you discuss a specific topic and give inputs. So, for instance, in this one, you'll have to write, for instance, 350 words to describe a situation. Now, when you come to a forums, you can have the opportunity, if it's one where you have to create your own topic, you just will say new topic, give it a title and a description, and add your own topic. But generally, you will also have a lot of times where you just have to go reply to a topic, and that's what we will show you today. And so it's very important when you go to a forum activity to have a look at this reply button over here. So if I want to reply to the initial topic, so this is where they ask the question. So I want to make my contribution to this one. I'll click on reply, and it will open up this text box. So this, as I mentioned, it's a lot like Facebook, where you've got a little text box that pops up. So I can type in my reply over here. And you'll notice I can't format this as well. It's not like a Word document that I can edit any of this text. So a lot of times lecturers might require you to upload content as well. Something that you typed in a Word document, or some resource that you discovered to support your narrative of what you're typing. So if you want to do a more formal reply, you have to click on this advanced. So remember, if you click on reply, it will just open a text box that you can't do really much in. If I want to add a longer reply, I can click on advanced, for instance. And this will open up the text editor. You'll see here, for instance, the text that I've had previously is now in a bigger text box. But now I've got options. So I've got, for instance, I can make this bold or in italic. I can have a list here, for instance, and even number the list. So if you're familiar with Microsoft Word, you get a lot of the tools to actually make this reply that you do very more structured. I don't want you to worry too much about the additional tools. Just focus on the plain editing tools, for instance, bold, italic, how to insert a link if you need to insert a link to a resource. The same tools that you will use in Microsoft Word. And really get familiar with this text editor. This text editor, you will find it in a lot of places. You will find it, for instance, obviously on the forum tool. But if you, for instance, sometimes do even a quiz, and you have to type in text, for instance, then you will get this text editor as well, even in assignments that you have to submit. So the first time you come to it, remember to click on the advanced option for forums in this case, but then really play around with this text editor just to become familiar of how does it work, so that when you in the future have to submit assignments, that you don't have to worry about the text editor, but rather just on your content. But most importantly, if you go to the advanced option in the forums section, you can also drag and upload a file over here. So if they require you to submit a file for a, for your reply on a forum, remember you have to then click on the advanced option. So all you need to do, just to go quickly through it again, you go reply. If it's just a quick text reply, hi, my name is this, I'm from this region, you can just type it in here. But if it's a little bit more formal that you have to reply, you can click on advanced. We've got more options to do a bulleted list, perhaps list all your hobbies or achievements. You can even upload a file to support what you are saying. And then you just, in the end, simply post to forum. And this will actually then add the topic to the main thread. As you can see, this is the main thread. A lot of activities that you will also need to do is you have to, for instance, on a discussion forum, you have to first do a reply, your own opinion, and then you have to go and perhaps reply on somebody else's opinion. So it's exactly the same, but if I don't want to reply to the main topic, I want to reply, for instance, to David Harperstead over here, and then I can just type reply on his topic and I will reply directly to him. So I'll just say, hello, David. Here we go. Now I just click post to forum. So now I've replied directly to David, and you'll see this will actually fall underneath his discussion. So you can see just by the indent who replied and who replied to the main forum activity. So I hope you got a good understanding of forums. Forums really, as you mentioned, just approach it like a Facebook chat. There's nothing too advanced to it. Just the big difference is for students coming back from previous years, the forum tool is not located in the left navigation anymore. It's actually part in the main page where you can access the activities. So it will be more located where you have to participate in that forum tool. But as mentioned, you might also have in the introduction have a general forum where you can ask general questions. So that covers the forum tool. The next tool that we're just going to have a look at is quizzes. So we'll click on this quizzes over here. So remember with quizzes, as Denzel mentioned as previously, it might come in different formats. So it might have a time constraint to it. So you only have 1 hour to do the quiz. You might have only one attempt or multiple attempts to complete this quiz. So really click on the quiz page. We had a question the other day as well. They're too scared to go click on, for instance, the quiz activity, because they're scared if they click on it, they will have to start the quiz. So no, you can come and click on the quiz over here. It doesn't start automatically. It's only when you start the attempt that you start with the actual quiz. So on the top, it will give you instructions whether it's a time-based, you've only got 1 hour, or whether you have multiple attempts as well. A big difference from previous years would be in the previous years you had, for instance, the multiple choice questions in your tutorial letter, so you could see all the questions, you go answer all of them, and then you mark them in your tutorial letter, and then you come and submit. You select, for instance, this is how many questions, and then you fill in A, B, C, D, and you submit. So remember, this is more a formal assessment. It's part of your assignments. So be prepared when you come and do your quizzes. So you won't necessarily have the opportunity to can I say, just quickly view and then go back and research the questions. You have to be prepared when attempting quizzes on this new upgraded system. So for instance, on this one, I can just say, yeah, I've already attempted it, so I'll just try it again. Remember, quizzes, we'll get to the different types of assignments now that you might get, but one would be, for instance, quizzes are generally multiple choice, so you have to connect, different phrases that fits together. So there's multiple ways that it might be structured, but the one you'll probably get the most is multiple choice questions. So all you need to do is you click on the quiz, you come and select which one do you think is correct for the specific area. Remember, some of them might also be, for instance, multiple selection. So just be vigilant, if you can select multiple options. So you, for instance, usually a multiple select will have a little box icon where a single selection will have a circle. But the instructions on the question will generally indicate to you whether you have to select more of the multiple selections or just a single selection. So you just click in all the information. So as you can see, this last one, if I click here, it doesn't allow me to do multiple select. So I know there's only one correct one. So obviously you'll read the questions very thoroughly, and then you'll submit once you select it, then you can go ahead. So as mentioned, you might also get some text questions in here that you'll have to type in. And as I've mentioned, here you get our old text box editor as well. So generally, you'll can get away with just typing in text, but if it's, for instance, something that you need to bullet, then you can always use the bulleting options that's available in this text editor as well. So I'm not going to go through all of them at the moment. So I'm just going to finish attempt. So once you've finished, remember you can return, because here it will show you answered. Oh, maybe I skipped one. I can always return to attempt, go back to that question again. Or I can just say, okay, now I'm happy with my submission. I've viewed all the questions, and then I submit and finish. And we'll give you even another confirmation, submit and finish. And depending on how the quiz has been set up, you might get instantaneous feedback. Usually when it's text-based questions, there will be marking associated with it, so it will take a bit longer before you get your final result. But generally you can get a quick overview of how you did, depending on if it's made available that you can view results immediately. But a lot of times you will not be able to view results directly afterwards. But one thing that I want you to take note is, if you can, take a screenshot of this or copy this as well. This is for your own records. So say there is something that went wrong during, you submitted, and then later on, let's say perhaps there was a submission error. This is your proof that you've submitted this specific assignment. So just take a screenshot of the final page of submissions. So I'm going to finish review here. So I'm done with my second attempt. So really, a lot of students, they also get confused with the attempts. So remember, if it says 3 attempts, you can go do 3 attempts, as long as you do it before the due date. So don't squander the attempts. Really, with the first one already, try and answer all the questions. As you might be then studying further, you might realize, oh, I made a mistake. So you can always go back and rectify it. But as long as it's before the due date, you will be able to use those attempts. But that's only if the attempts been made available. And remember, some of them might also have a time constraint to it. So really prepare beforehand that you have to almost approach this as a mini exam, where if your study material says you have to have done these chapters to be prepared for this quiz or assignment, go and study those assignments and then attempt a quiz. Especially if it's time constrained, you will not have enough time to go through your books to find a relevant resource. Okay, so that's basically what we've got with quizzes. You can see I've got a new level as well. So once you approach assignments, there is multiple tools that they can use for assessment purposes. The main ones will be the quizzes, and then you also get formal assignments that you have to submit. So one thing I want you to note is quizzes usually have this little, it's almost like a clipboard, where it's got, really like the old wooden clipboards that you used to get, whereas assignments usually got this clipboard with an arrow pointing downwards. So if it's an arrow pointing downwards, you generally know that's something that you'll have to upload. It might be that you have to type in the whole thing online in the text editor, but generally it will be then a file that you have to submit. So remember, here's where it becomes very important. The different types is quizzes. You do online, you get the question online. If it's a multiple choice, you tick it online, you finish, and you submit. You're done. Assignments, generally, it will give you a questions that you need to go and do in a Word document. The best would be Microsoft Word, and then you submit it as a PDF document. It's a preferred method of submission. So you basically come to the assignment, look at what the question is for this assignment. I go and do the assignment in my Word document. When I'm ready for my submission, that means I've already now completed the Word document, I've saved it as a PDF, I come back to it, and then I click on Add Submission. And then on here, this one is now, for instance, online text. Let me just do one where we've got a file upload. Let's do this one. So for instance, a portfolio that you have to submit. So usually it will have the instructions of what you do. I've now completed my portfolio. I've saved it as a PDF document, and then I can come here and submit for grading. And it will have the same structure as what you had previously with the forums, where you just drag and drop the file on here and you submit the file, and we'll show you, okay, you've submitted this specific file. But really, if you, for instance, have a Word document and you put it in the upload box, and it tells you, wait, this file is not supported, then generally your lecturer said, okay, this has to be in a PDF format. So always save your Word documents as PDF when you submit. That's generally the best, how can I say, way to submit it. And just to start it off from the beginning, so it becomes a custom that you always submit it that way as a PDF document. So I'm just quickly going to go back to that one. We just had the assignment, since it doesn't want to allow me to upload a new file. So I'm just going to add submission. So in this area, usually you will upload your file. So you'll type in your narrative, for instance, you'll save changes, and then finally you can view your submission from here. So it's very, very quick, where you just upload your assignment and submit it for grading. But first, you don't feel afraid. You can click on the assignment, view the instructions, do it offline, and only when you're ready then to submit, you say add submission, you submit your assignment. So that is very, very quick. I think let's just go back to our presentation quickly before we go to the Q&A session. So just for a quick review. So remember, when you get to your dashboard, so you've logged into myUnisa, you clicked on myModules 2022. This is generally what the dashboard will look like, with the left navigation, the main content area, and right blocks. And then from the top, you can access your myModules. You can also click on your profile page, and it will show you, for instance, your grades. That's very important if you want to have an overview of all your assignments that you have to submit. But generally, you will also the first time just have a look at your profile to make sure that the courses listed there is correct and your email is correct. Here's just a quick view of your profile as we looked previously. The grades again. So if you want to have an overview of your grades, so this basically replaces the assignments tool that we had in the past. You can just click on the grades tool, and you can even click here on an assignment to quickly access that assignment for submission, or just to view what it's about. And then we also covered the calendar, where you can have what you can use for planning, to plan out your year, and you can even add your own events, for instance, reminders of when you must start with a particular assignment. And then when you access a specific course site, remember, it follows the same pattern, where you've got the left navigation, you've got the central content area, and then also right blocks where you can see your course progress or the calendar for the specific course. And remember, everything happens in the main content area. So if you go through the main content area, remember to click at the bottom little downward pointing arrow to reveal all the content, everything you need to do. Forums, assignments, everything is in the main content area. You will only use the left navigation really to access your prescribed material if it's listed there. If there's nothing listed there, just make doubly sure and go to tutorial letter 101 on the official study material. A lot of times you might have study guides as well. So you will also access your study guides on here if it's available for the course. Remember, some of the courses will have prescribed textbooks. Others will just have all the content on that main content area. We have to go work through all the material on there. So it's a fully online module. And others will have study guides. And then the study guide is generally then all you need to know. Or the study guide is even there just to support the textbook that you need to buy. And then very importantly, announcements, go check it regularly. For students coming from last year, remember currently it's not going to your MyLife email. So you have to come to the announcements area to view what is the latest announcements. And then online assignments and quizzes, as mentioned, is usually two forms. It's a fully online one where it's quizzes that you have to complete online. The questions you receive online, everything is online, you submit online, where the other one might be a one where you have to upload an assignment. And this is previously what I was talking about, the same block where you just say upload a file, and it's usually a PDF document that you will submit or need to submit. But your lecturer in the instructions will also give you a guideline on what file types are supported. Then also activities that you will generally also use is the forum activity. So there's various activities that lecturers can use, for instance, chat activities. So you'll learn about it as you go through your module content. But the popular one is forum activities. And as mentioned, you can either start a new discussion topic, or you can just reply to an existing topic. So if it's a discussion just around a single topic, generally you will only reply and say, okay, this is my view of the topic. But otherwise, it might be, for instance, a general area, and you want to ask a general question, then you can add a new topic, and others can come and reply to your topic. Just a quick note again, this is very important to remember that when you reply to a forum, it will generally first be a text box area. And if you have to do more formatted text or upload a file, click on the advanced option to open that additional options. Okay, so that basically covers all you need to know about myModules and getting started with your module sites. So we covered basically everything that you'll need to get started over there. So let's get over to the just a quick view of the MyLife email account. So as we roll back, remember we started with myUnisa and myLife. So myUnisa contains myModules and myAdmin, and now your myLife is the one that's the external platform that's not under myUnisa. And this is the myLife email account. So remember, this will be your official email address account with UNISA. So all correspondence that you do with UNISA and your lecturers, you have to do with your myLife email account. So to access your myLife email account, remember, wait at least for 48 hours after you claimed your initial password. Then you can come on myUnisa and click on myLife email, and the block is just under on the right-hand side under the main notification area. So what's different from when you sign in here? You can see immediately this is a Microsoft email account. It's Outlook. So here you have to type in your complete email address. So that's your student number at mylife.unisa.ac.za. If you come here and you type in your password and you says incorrect password, you don't follow the procedure on here to change your password. Remember, your myLife and your myUnisa password is always the same. You will only ever change your myUnisa password, and that will sync up with what your password is for myLife. So as you can see over here, it's basically a Outlook email account. If you're familiar with Gmail or other email accounts, it works pretty much exactly the same. And from here, you can send and receive emails. You'll see, for instance, on this one, there's a few notifications from announcements. As mentioned, currently, the announcements are not being sent through, so you have to go to myModules to view announcements. But in the future, for all important communication, visit this email account very regularly to actually access your emails. You can forward your emails as well, automatic forwarding from this account to, for instance, a personal account that you have. It's very easy to set up. But then just remember, when you reply to an email, say it's from your lecturer and you want to reply to them, rather come and do it from your myLife email account to use your official myLife email address. For else, it might be flagged as spam if it's from a Gmail or external account. Just another note on myLife emails. When you get emails that says, for instance, you have to update your account information, or there's free classes available, or you have to click on the link, or you have even paid classes, or you get free software, we've got spam in this area as well. So always make sure of where the sender is from. If the sender is from another student, if it's a student email address or one that doesn't end with unisa.ac.za, not mylife.unisa.ac.za, just unisa.ac.za, then it's official. But if it's coming from a mylife or external email, do not click on it, because there is a lot of phishing going on the emails. And the university is actively fighting against it, but now and again a new one does come through. Then just a last note for you that might be interested. As I mentioned, when we logged into our account over here, you'll notice it's a Microsoft account. So your myLife account is actually a Microsoft 365 account. So if you currently have a desktop and you don't have Microsoft Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, and you need it for your studies, you do not need to go and purchase those software. You can actually get it for free from here. So all you need to do is you go to office.com, you sign in with your myLife email address and your myUnisa password, and you will have access to all the Microsoft 365 apps online, but you can also download Microsoft 365 onto your desktop. So really, if you get a chance and you needed software, even if you need it for your mobile devices, go visit office.com after you've accessed your myLife email, and then you'll be able to log in and download all these various apps that you will need for your studying. And then just a note for our next session. So unfortunately, we already finished the Friday the 18th session, last week Friday. So this was a very formal information session where we focus primarily on providing you with the information and the step-by-step, take you through all the how to navigate the platform and access various areas. If you have any support requirements or there's areas where you're still uncertain about, we have what we call blast sessions, and the next one is this Friday at 10 o'clock. You'll notice if you go to the invite, there's 3 links. So it's blast session 1, 2, and 3. So we really want to reduce the numbers in each session because we want to open the mics and hear from you. So if you've got problems, there's something you're uncertain about, come and visit us on Friday. Select the session with the least amount of participants in it. And then from there, we will open the mics and really focus on getting feedback from you, support you with where your troubled areas is, walk you through certain areas where you're having still problems with. So this is really a very important session where we can hear your voice. So if you're available on Friday between 10 and 12, please look at the invites, select the blast session, any of the 3, but preferably choose the one with the least amount of participants at that time so that we can really open the mics and be able to interact with everybody. Just also, I will put in the chat a link to the post-assessment. So remember at the beginning, we had the pre-assessment just to see what your understanding is coming into the session. So please also complete this one. So this is just to see if you gained the knowledge that we set out for the session today. And this will really help us to improve our material for future webinars. So I'll put the link in the chat. Please have a look in the chat and just click on the link. I see there's a question, how does badges work? I'll quickly cover badges now. I'll just post the link there again. Alana, Ru, so we'll just cover that question before we get back to the final slide. Okay, so badges is a new concept. Badges is not part of necessarily your assessment. It's not going to change your grade, but it does help you to see, your progress, completion. Have you worked for a material? Did you score high enough, perhaps in some online activities? As you work through the specific areas, you can earn badges for what you have completed. So let me just go back to this one over here. So unfortunately, I haven't received any badges on here currently. So let me just go back here. So badges would be as you walk through, as you complete all the. Oh, this one doesn't have the badges on it. Oh, that's bad. Let me just go on this one. Okay, so it's number 7. No, it's not number 7. Okay. Where were we now? Okay. So as you complete the activities in the module, you might receive badges. And these badges is just the indication that you perhaps learned a new competency, or you, for instance, completed a section. So it might be that there's, for instance, with the course, you have a few badges that you can earn. And then as you earn them by completing different activities, you'll usually have one at the end of the session as well, where you got the top badge for the whole module. So if I just go, for instance, to my profile, or my preferences, basically, it's the badges. They manage badges. So you can see, for instance, on here, you can come and view your badges. Now, what the university is going to work towards with badges as well into the future is, for instance, say I've earned a competency in digital literacy by completing a section on one of my modules. So these badges will then display over here, and then later you will even be able to connect these badges to, for instance, a LinkedIn account. So this is the micro competencies that you will learn throughout, your academic career, and these you can already then almost showcase on your profiles as well for job applications or opportunities to really show the academic competencies that you've reached during your academic assessment. So currently there's not a lot of courses that have badges implemented yet. You might see it a lot more in the future where as the structure for badges becomes implemented, and really then it will really also motivate you to go and complete all the activities, go through the resources, and as you achieve them, it will show up on your badges that you achieved. And then you can link them from here to, for instance, as I mentioned, your LinkedIn profiles, your public profiles, to even in the future when you do job applications, you can refer to these badges as that's usually related to a competency that you learn, that I have covered these competencies, and it's backed up by the university as having this official badge. So badges is really, on the one hand, a very motivational thing for a student to complete all the activities, complete all those micro competencies, and then because you can use it externally, but it also gives you a good indication, almost like the we had the progress bar, where you, for instance, have to get all the different badges to complete. It's almost like progress, instead of now just to show where you are, you will actually achieve badges as you go through the course. So I hope that answers your question on that one. Okay, so just the last one, and that's the getting help. So if you have any problems with myUnisa, My Life specifically, so for instance, you're struggling to log into myUnisa, or your My Life account says your password doesn't work or the account doesn't exist, then generally you will email inquire@unisa.ac.za. But also, if you have problems with these areas, come and visit us on the blast sessions on Friday, so that we can also give you some support on that. I will ask David if he can just add the link. I'll add a link now quickly for you as well. We've created a form. So if you're having trouble, so you've already sent, for instance, to inquire and you didn't get feedback yet and you don't know what to do, we've added I'm going to add a form here, and then you can fill in this form with your problem as well, and we will direct them to the regions, to the specified region, so that they can also make contact with you and then support you. So just to get back here, so if you've got myUnisa, My Life support problems, inquire at unisa.ac.za. If you have problems with myModules, specifically your modules are missing, or you canceled some modules and it is still displaying, we've got quite a lot at the moment, then it's myModule 22. Let me just fix this one. There we go. Background line. So just remember, it's not myModules as it's listed on myUnisa. For some reason, they made myModule 22 at unisa.ac.za. So just make sure you don't put in that S when you email this account. So this is specifically for myModules. So if there's, as mentioned, you can't access, you're getting errors when you want to access myModules. The things aren't listed, the modules aren't listed, then you use this email. But if it's, for instance, generally with My Life and myUnisa access, then it's inquire at unisa.ac.za. And really also make use of the website on myUnisa, the inquire link, where you can have access to all the various links. So really make a mental note of on myUnisa, the inquire tab over here will give you all the contact information that you'll possibly need for any queries that you might have. So really just have a look at this page as well. So then, yes, I think that's all from my side. Please complete that post-assessment survey. I'll post a link now again in the chat. And then also remember, we will upload a recording of the session on the URL provided to the open course. Let me just pop in the link again. I'll pop up in both links. So you can use the long link or the tiny URL. It's easier for you to use. So really go have a look at all those resources. Everything that we covered today is on here. And we will also make, as I mentioned previously, the recordings on here as well, available under webinar recordings. So you just go click on webinar recording, click on the guide, and it will open up and you can watch the video directly on there. So thank you very much. So I'll just quickly hand it over to David to see if there's any important questions that we need to answer. David?
Thanks, Richard. Much appreciated. All right, so a couple of things that are coming up. The one I think which is quite important is, Richard, I don't know if you can maybe quickly show the students where to do the forwarding option in My Life. I saw a lot of students saying, how can we do this? So that's definitely something. Is it possible? Can you maybe just do a demonstration to show them where they put in their personal email account within My Life? While you're setting up, okay, sorry?
No, go ahead, I'll quickly set up so long.
Okay, super. Okay, while you're going ahead, I also see students, you guys are referring to Moodle and Moodle apps. I saw quite a number of people asking that, guys, and it's really, really nothing to do with UNISA. To build the myUnisa content. So that's actually only part that Moodle really plays. Otherwise, don't worry about downloading Moodle or Moodle apps. You leave them alone. Don't need to know, don't have to worry about those. You can download the myUnisa app, and that's definitely useful. If you want to use the myUnisa app under your Play Store, great, go and download that. As a student, make sure you access myUnisa and My Life. Definitely log into My Life frequently just to make sure that you've got access. And then, of course, using your myModules. All right, so that's definitely something that came up. Okay, we're going to look at the My Life, how to do the forwarding option. So that will be great. While we're waiting for Richard, I just want to show you guys something else that came out through the training or the blast session last week. Okay, there we go. Sorry, it just took a bit of time. You'll notice when you're on your module, right? And you're scrolling through and maybe your lecture says there's something you need to do under, let's say, for example, baseline assessments, and it's under activities. So when you come to activities and you don't see it here, just take a note of this little arrow pointing down. I see a lot of people are missing it. They don't see it, but there it is. So if you click on it, it then will show the hidden items that are there. And there we go. So it expands itself. There, for example, would be baseline assessment as an example, guys. So just have a look at that. Just make sure you know how this little guy works, and it might be hiding some information there. Okay, so just take note of him. Okay, Richard, are you ready on your side?
Yes, then I can quickly show my side.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. So remember, to access your My Life email, you'll visit myUnisa. You click on My Life email address. I've just got a different window open over here. So once you log in, you'll get to your email account, and then you'll see at the top bar there's a little gear. You'll need to click on this gear setting over here. Let me just show you. And it will give you some basic options on the when you click on the gear, but you'll have to click on this View All Outlook Settings, and this will open up this tab over here with all the different settings that you can possibly have. So let me just take it from here as well. So this one, unfortunately, is just a little bit of an older picture, but generally the same. You'll click on the gear. You'll click then on All Messaging Options. And then on this option that you have here, you'll have forwarding in the left navigation. So let me just show you on this one as well. So on here, you'll have the option forwarding. So you click on forwarding. Now, just so you'll have to first click, for instance, start forwarding, the top bar, after the top select box. And then you have to type in your email address over here. Now, this is very important. When you do this, please keep a copy of forwarded messages. Because a lot of students, they forget. They come and set this up the first time. They start forwarding, they type in the email address, they click save, it's done. But then later they get, for instance, a message that they want to reply to, and then they log into the My Life email, and there's no messages. Everything has been deleted. It's in the cycle bin. So under deleted messages. So always keep a copy of forwarded messages as well, just to make sure that if you perhaps even lose access to an account where you forwarding the messages to, that you can still come to your My Life email and select this option. So as mentioned, you only need to click on the gear at the top, more messaging options, click on forwarding, click on start forwarding, and then you type in your email address and tick that box, keep a copy of forwarded messages. Very, very important. And then from there on, you will always have the messages on your My Life and onto the account where you want to send them to. So once you've done that, just remember to click on the save box just to save the changes, and then you will be able to get your messages. So that's just the quick steps of how to forward your messages.
Thanks, Richard. Much appreciated. There we go, students. So you've seen it. I see there's a couple of people said we've joined late. So where can we find the recording? We will post the link again for you guys where you can see the very last options. Just asked the question, can I submit assignments via Moodle app? Okay, as we're saying, guys, you can use myUnisa app, and you can use just the myUnisa app in terms of apps. That's fine. but you don't need to use Moodle app. Leave it alone. It's not necessary. Okay, myUnisa app is fine. Yes, so definitely recordings are available. Students, please do go through the chat, the conversation, and you can see all the links and all the information that's been posted there. There's quite a number of replies to your answers. I see the lecturers and the team really has been responding to a lot of your questions. So just go double check that you don't really have the answer, because I see sometimes you guys do post it more than once. Okay, so we are trying to answer all your questions. And there you go. As you can see on your screen, right at the bottom there, you can see the webinar option where you can go see the recordings that we've got. Please remember, if you want or you're still struggling or you've got questions, you can join us on Friday. Oh, there we are, Denzel and myself. You can join us on Friday for the blast sessions. So what happens there? There are 3 different groups. You can join any of the groups, 1, 2, or 3, and you can then engage with us and tell us this is where you're struggling or where you need help. I also noticed, Richard, a lot of students are referring to dispatch or their study materials, and they want to know how to get or track their parcels. Now, we did show you there is myAdmin, and there is a parcel tracking option there. If you're not seeing it or there is some information, but you're still not sure where the parcel is, please check your myLife email. And also you can email dispatch@unisa.ac.za, so they can also assist you there. Richard, before you leave that page, under student admin, there was a query a little bit outside what we're doing today. If you can just click on student admin for me.
Sorry, I'll just quickly want to access it again.
Okay, no problem. There was a question about registering for tutorials. If you click on your myAdmin and then you go to student admin, there's an option in there that you'll see that specifically talks about tutorials and digital access centers as well. Just to tell you guys, digital access centers are free computer centers that you can access as a UNISA student, and you can get the internet and a computer to work on, and then you can see the information under student admin. So that's also quite important. That's why it's very important to know where all this information is sitting. So that's definitely something. So make sure you email dispatch@unisa.ac.za for those who are still struggling with their study materials. But please remember, your myModules already has the modules loaded hopefully by now, and the study materials are sitting in there already, so don't wait for the hard copies. Try to get busy already. Let's see, so we've tackled that. Then the other question I saw, and it sort of came all in a group of students asking, is about myIT Lab. That means you are doing EUP 1501. All right, so please again go log into myLife and go check in there. You should receive an email stating that you are now registered for myIT Lab, and they give you all the steps that you need to follow in order to access myIT Lab and how the whole process works with myIT Lab. Now remember, myIT Lab is a product that's owned by Pearson.com, so it's a different app that you're going to use only for EUP students. Okay, so please check your myLife email, so hopefully there you'll see it's waiting for you, but also check under the discussion forums and announcements, because it would be there as well. Your lecturers would be telling you to do the following, giving you some guidance. And then let me check anything else that really came up a lot. The grades, there we go. I think Richard just showed you guys how to see your grades, your marking. There we go. Thanks, Richard. And then probably the last question I've got here is really about the discussion forums. If they are not available yet, or there's no button or reply button, what could the student then do? Richard, over to you.
Okay, so if there is no reply button to the forum, for instance, if you come here to announcements, well, announcements is not necessarily a good one. So remember, announcements you can't reply to, but if it's a forum where you can't reply to, that means the forum has not been opened yet for replies by the lecturer. So just to ask your lecturer, send them a direct email. You can get their contact information from the official study material, Tory Letter 101, and just ask them when it will be available for you to start participating in that forum. So if there's no reply button, it means the forum has not been opened by the lecturer at the moment.
All right, thanks, Richard. I hope that clears up the quite a few questions we had around the discussion forum. Okay, your MyLife email password, please remember it's exactly the same password as your myUnisa password. The only difference is your user ID or username for MyLife. It's your student number at mylife.unisa.ac.za. So that whole thing is your user ID, or yeah, user ID is fine. So just remember that as well. Also, just remember,
David?
guys. Yes.
Oh, just a question here, sorry. And remember, when you claim your myUnisa, your MyLife email is generated automatically. And then, so just wait 48 hours at least for after you claimed your password for myUnisa, your account will be created, your MyLife email. So once then all you need to do is you go to MyLife email on myUnisa, and from there you just log in with your MyLife email address and your myUnisa password.
Great. Thanks, Richard. Just one more thing, guys. We showed you how to do forwarding. All right. So what will happen is, let's say a Gmail account, you'll see an email comes through and you'll see it's from UNISA. Please remember, when you want to communicate with UNISA, please log into your MyLife email and use that account to email to the university. Okay. The reason being is our spam folders firewall sort of protects us. And if the firewall, for whatever reason, doesn't like something in your email, it might block it, and then we might not even see your email. So that's why we're very, very much keen for you guys to access your MyLife and make sure that when you need to email us, you can do so. Do I need to have Outlook app to access MyLife email? No, you do not need to use it. You will actually be using the web-based version. So when you log into MyLife, it's going to look very similar to Outlook, the desktop version. Only difference is it's on the web, it's in the cloud, so you can actually email it that way. But you can set it up if you really wanted to. You could set up your Outlook, although that would be, it's a little bit of a process. And that's pretty much the main questions that have come out of this session. And thank you. Also, a special thank you to Adriano. I saw you were answering quite a number of the student queries, and I was just checking your answers and they were spot on. So I'm very happy. Thank you. That means you definitely have learned something and you're sharing with your fellow students, which I think is really, really awesome. To wrap up the session, I'm just going to call on Jessica, one of our dear colleagues, to wrap up today's session. There she is. Big beaming smile, and over to you, Jessica.
Thank you very much. I'm Jessica. I'm one of the team members on this ADOV team to support students, and I'm actually a lecturer in the Department of Business Management. And I just wanted to thank all of you for joining us today. I know it can seem like a lot with a new system, and not just a new system, many of you are first-year students, so it can be very, very overwhelming. But I want to encourage you, maintain contact with your lecturers. If you have module-specific queries, please send them an email. You'll find their information in your tutorial letter 101. And just get onto your myModules and explore around, and don't be afraid to ask us questions. Please don't study alone. We are here for you. You are going to benefit from being in the social and interactive space of myModules. And I hope you enjoy your journey with us. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for joining. Remember to, if you've got any additional questions, to join us on Friday for the blast sessions. It's on the invitation. Join any of the free links, preferably the one with the least amount of attendees. So we'll see you on Friday. So have a good afternoon. Go well. Bye.